Welcome. Today we want to talk about a decision that many women make after they've taken a career break and they're going back, they want to go back to work. And that is, should I go back to school?
Yeah.
We see a lot of people just accumulate lots of licensure and even degrees in anticipation of going back to school. And that's not always the best idea.
Going back to work.
Yeah, go back to work.
Yes.
That's not always the best idea though, is it?
No, and that can often be a form of hiding in a way that, you know, I don't know what I want to do, so I'm going to get more and more education and hope that at the end of whatever course or whatever degree I get, that this is the next thing that I want to do. And that is not the way to do it. The way we recommend you do it is starting with something that we call explore and assess. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think I want to build on what you said about hiding though, because it's really easy to feel like you're being productive by going to school, by acquiring licensure. But if it isn't clearly directed, it's really kind of just a delay tactic, because at some point you're going to have to put yourself out there to get the job. And that's the hard part. So what Kelley's mentioning, exploring and assessing, allows you to vet whether or not the licensure or the credentialing or the degree that you're going after even matters. Very often we have found a lot of students will come through and they'll have multiple degrees and they might not even be related, or licenses or these certificates. And they're doing it because somebody said, oh, you should do this because you'll get a job. Or, oh, I think they need that. You need that to get this job.
And this happens where, you know, some of the people that you might be asking are credible people. They might be people who are working in your industry, and they're saying to you, well, the only way you're ever going to get back is if you get this degree or if you do that. And what we have found, because we work with people who have gaps, that is not always the case.
It's often not the case because the person you're talking to has usually a limited perspective. They're not in charge of hiring. They're not as up to date on what skills are necessary for the job. They may be the skills they have and they feel are necessary.
It might be the track that they took or that they know other people that are coming up through the ranks have taken. Right.
So you need to explore and talk to multiple people. You can't just take what one person says and run with it. Talk to multiple people. Do a little bit of research online too, but mostly talk to people and find out what is really necessary for me to do this job. And then rethink what you've already done.
Right. So really mining for your own skills.
Exactly. I mean, it's very easy to say, well, I don't have any experience in social media. And I want to get a marketing job. So now I've got to go get a Google social media certificate or something like that. But think about what you've done for the PTO or for your local sports team or for your church. Maybe you're writing a digital newsletter. Maybe you're doing social media posts. You need to, as Kelley said, mine through those experiences you've acquired through your volunteer efforts or maybe gig work and look and see, you know what, I really do have this skill set.
And here's a thought. And if you don't, that's a cheap way of using your volunteer experience for your own good. You could take on that newsletter or the social media posts and educate yourself about how to use those different platforms. And then you'll have the experience to go on your resume as well.
And very often, if a company prefers that you have a certificate for a certain particular role, they'll pay for you to get it. Right? They're not going to make you pay for it. That's a really great way to be getting that certificate while you're doing the work, because we were just talking about this earlier. There's so much more value in getting any type of advanced certificate or degree when you're doing the work, because it's inapplicable. You're using it as you're learning it. Right.
Okay, but let's just what's hard and fast? Like, what are kind of the non-negotiables, would you say? If you can name like one or two.
I mean, like you have to have a JD to be a lawyer.
Right.
You have to have an MD to be a doctor. You don't have to have an MBA to be anything in business. Right. Don't think you need that. Very often it doesn't really add a whole lot. Given the choice, a hiring manager is going to take somebody with experience over the MBA. And the MBA is not going to mitigate your 8-year career gap. What's going to mitigate that more is some experience. So maybe if you're in a highly competitive field, if you're, working in finance, maybe on Wall Street, maybe you're taking a slightly lower job than you'd want. Maybe you're starting where you left off instead of advancing, and that's okay because you're going to build the skill set that way, but that'll be more important to someone looking at you than an MBA.
We've had students who have left a certain career to maybe become a therapist or work.
Then you have to. I mean, a total pivot in a field that requires licensure. But we've also seen students go into project management who don't have a project management certificate because they had done the work before. They did some of that similar work during their career break. And they were convincing when they went into the into that interview. And that's a big piece of it, because if you believe that you are short in education in any way, it's going to show. It's going to show in your confidence when you're in that interview, and that's going to hurt you.
Yes,
for sure.
So there you have it. Those are the different ways that you can decide or determine if going back to school is for you.
And I would say on balance, most of the time the scales are tipped to the no. Right. Most of the time you don't need it when you think you do, except for those examples that we just gave.
Yeah. So some good vetting to be doing.
Yeah.
If that's you that's thinking about returning to school or getting some kind of credentialing before you return to your career or a new career. Exactly. So if you like what you heard today, you can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find more information about our programs that we run at www.preparetolaunchu.com. Thank you.